When browsing through my list of over 300 games I intend to platinum, I can get a bit overwhelmed. So, what better to do than let fate guide my hand and continue the series where I spin this here wheel and whatever it lands on will decide my journey. And this time, I'm hoping I don't get vertigo. Gravity Rush 2 is, shockingly, the sequel to one of the most beloved PS Vita games, Gravity Rush. In fact, it was so beloved that just 4 years after its initial release, it received a PS4 remaster, and then less than 1 year after that, a sequel. In the original game, you play as an amnesiac named Cat, who has the power to control gravity thanks to her cat guardian, Dusty. You make your way through different locations, helping the people of Hexville against the evil Nevi, and befriending a fellow power user while trying to uncover her past. Will this sequel give us the answers we've been looking for? Let's find out when I attempt to platinum this 3 out of 10 difficulty game in the recommended 40 hours it will take, starting with the story. We begin as a miner being lowered into some kind of event horizon so we can get to a mining station and follow a fellow miner to mine some kind of orb, only for a storm to hit just as we arrive, damaging our suits, revealing ourselves to be Cat, accompanied by Sid, a companion from the last game. Together we bolt towards safety only to be trapped with no way out. Fortunately, however, we're rescued by this woman Lisa, who seems to run the place that we're staying. Since the last game, it's revealed that we were sucked into a gravity storm along with Raven, the other power user, and Sid, where we were tossed into some kind of floating scrap city. However, since the gravity storm, we've yet to be reunited with Raven or even our guardian cat Dusty, meaning that we have no powers for now and are working for Lisa scavenging junk on her airship to earn our stay. After earlier's mess, we return to the scrap city known as Bangor Settlement and are awarded our first trophy, Cat Rising. We're then told to deliver a message for Lisa to some guy named Masai, so we spend a little while looking for him before relaying the message and being told to relay yet another one. After finishing being everyone's little messenger, I return to Lisa to hear Cece, another crew member, being yelled at for losing the livestock. So, being the hero I am, I ignore it, get my food for a job well done and pass out for the night. Only for us to be rudely awakened by some guy barging in, telling us that Cece has gone missing. We also learn that Cece was delivered by the storm much like us, only for Lisa to find her and take her in, and has treated her like a daughter ever since. So we go off to look for her, only for another gravity storm to open and Nevi to appear, ready to end us. Just as all seems lost, Sid charges in recklessly, and Dusty appears from nowhere, unlocking our gravity powers once more, allowing us to beat some serious Nevi ass. Now safe, we return to the ship where Sid is being healed for his injuries, and we're told to pick up his half of the work.
You're a fucking idiot.
So I head back over to the place I got my abilities to practice the fundamentals of my gravity, unlocking Gravity Test, before returning to the settlement and searching for Sid, finding him using his Riz on some poor unsuspecting femoids. Fortunately, we're saved by the bell when Cece dashes in telling us it's time to go mining once more for Lisa, this time with a few new tricks up my sleeve. Or I would've, if this wasn't the part where I lost all of my save data. But it's not all bad, because the reason I lost my save data was because I upgraded to a PS5. That's right baby, we're in the big leagues now! So I quickly blew through the starting missions again, reaching Lisa once more, and headed down to go and get some riches. Anger Issues McGee over here even decided to make it a challenge to see who could get more ores, which would be the biggest mistake of his career. Unfortunately though, things didn't quite go smoothly, as I received an SOS midway requiring me to help save some helpless miners before getting yet another SOS, only this time from everyone's favourite, Grumpy Masai himself. So I wiped out the Nevi attacking him and made it home safely, even getting to witness a bit of Masai's nice side for once, before being introduced to the person we're delivering the ores to, Vogo, who coincidentally seems to have a name just as short as his penis. He was only here to plant a low quality ore in the shipment we gave him and pin the blame on us for mining it, but with Sid's help we were able to get rid of him for the time being. I was then introduced to the power-ups tab before heading off to deliver Sid's split of the pay, where he told me about the Forbidden Land, a place with rich quality ore, but judging by the name, lots of danger too. But before that, I ran into Cece, who had left the gate open when tending to the ducks, so I decided to help her find them and bring them back to her, earning a day in Cat's life for completing my first side mission. Distractions out of the way, I met up with Lisa and somehow convinced her to take us to the Forbidden Land to collect enough riches to pay off Fogo. Once there, I discovered less of a creepy desolate wasteland, and more of a pollen-based nightmare. Here I had to locate tablets that would bestow upon me different challenges that opened the way for me once completed. So I went challenge to challenge, making my way through this new land, before finally being led to a giant deposit, which, of course, turned out to be a massive Nevi in disguise, starting what was pretty much my first boss fight. This surprisingly went pretty well though, ending in about 45 seconds total and leaving us with a massive deposit of high quality ore, allowing us to piss off Vogo and send him on his merry way, with enough gems left over to keep the economy from doing its best Paul Walker impression and crashing hard. Shortly after, however, Vogo returns with a bet to stir up more trouble, which we win via a fight against his brother and right-hand man Phi for Banga Set Sail, before we finally docked at Jurga Paralau. Here we discovered some of the ore we handed over to Vogo was missing, so we went looking for the culprits of this robbery, a gang called the Angry Centipede, only to discover they were stealing from the rich and wealthy to feed their families in the slums who were being oppressed by the town's military forces. Turns out the city was split into 3 levels: the slums, the middle class, and the wealthy, the latter of which were using the military forces to oppress the poor in order to keep their wealth. While doing some favours for the rich to earn some easy pay, I overheard the military's plans to destroy the poor's housing to make an amusement park for the rich, so we go down to help, only to find the attack already in full swing, and Raven, for some reason, working with them, as proven when she knocks me the fuck out, before retreating with the rest of the small wee-wee militia. We eventually end up fighting Raven, who's been brainwashed to believe that she's a militia fighter called Nightgale, freeing her by destroying the mask that's keeping her under the control of the military, before taking on some side quests, unlocking 3 different talismans and equipping them for Sacred Trio, then together sparking an uprising against the council, corrupt rulers behind everything, which admittedly started off pretty poorly, but after a lot of fighting and a hugely unexpected sacrifice from Vogo, it fortunately ends up succeeding, restoring the people of Banga Settlement to their rightful rule over Jurga Paralau. Oh, also Vogo survived. However, shock horror, all is not well for long, as the government centre from the first game's locale that mysteriously disappeared, New Hurailon, returns out of nowhere, having become a giant Nevi after landing in a rift plane, and straight up murders the council. Jesus Christ. I, along with Raven, Sid and Lisa, figure out a way to get inside the beast to find Cece, who was swallowed by it, and take it down in the process. I also somehow find a new power inside and earn Surge of Power for wiping out 5 Nevi with a single attack, before finally reaching the beast's core, finding Cece being held hostage slap bang in the middle. So Raven and I take it down together, which frees Cece, only for her and Raven to be sucked into a rift, with me jumping in after them and ending up at the very location that the first game began, Hexville, unlocking Jurga Paralau Revolution. It's here I met Callie Angel, yet another shifter, who replaced me as the city's hero after I left, as well as Dr. Brahman, a highly regarded scientist who designed a city-wide robotic Nevi defense system, but more importantly, it bought me a bed. Shortly after meeting them, Brahman becomes the mayor despite an attack by a group of rebels, which I expertly handled, but it's soon revealed that the rebels were actually right, and Brahman is a crazy boy who plans to use the crystal-induced powers of his kidnapped daughters, Callie and Cece, who used to be known as Durga Angel, before she ran away and lost her memories and powers, to stop time itself. It's complicated. Fortunately though, Raven and I were able to defeat Brahman and his daughters, killing both him and Callie, and saving the city with the help of Jurga Paralau, which came through a tear in space, thus ending the main story for Hexville Twilight. But wait, there's more! I first nabbed myself Cat's daily routine for completing 20 side missions before encountering a glowing girl who told me through Alias, the first game's villain, that the dark ocean under the city will destroy Hexville and the entire world with it. So, on Alias's advice, Raven and I travelled to the top of the world pillar, finding the frozen city of Ito. It's here that Ito's king, named Kai, informed me that I was the former queen and held me in the castle due to a supposed illness, but I soon realised that I'd been brainwashed and that he was holding Raven prisoner. After fighting off Kai's Nevi minions and unlocking Event Horizon for killing 10 Nevi with 1 micro black hole, I was rescued by Creator Bit and sent to a separate dimension where I was forced to remember my past. In this place, I realised that Sid is actually Alias, who was one of my former retainers, and that we were betrayed by my other retainer, Cicero, for wanting to save the people below from the Dark Ocean. However, the creators decided to save us as they were swayed by our heroic nature. In the meantime though, King Sai released the glowing girl from a crystal, revealing her to be electricity, the personification of electrical energy, and together they fought to speed up the world's demise. The people of Hexville were unable to stop her, but were fortunately able to stall her long enough for me to arrive and take her down, before bitch-slapping King Kai, who then merged with his guardian Wulp into a giant monster that is the manifestation of the black hole down below the city. This dark being offers me a deal to allow me to survive the end and eventual rebirth of the world, but I chose to defeat him with the help of the populace and seal the black hole by sacrificing myself. And so, time moved on without me, but who knows, maybe I'll return someday. And so, with the final trophy Finn, that's the main story complete, leaving me with a lot of side missions left to complete. So I began tearing through as many as I could, eventually earning catwalking overtime for completing 40, before taking a break and heading to the mines, where I unlocked Mining Expert for collecting 5 talisman stones, as well as mining instructions for reaching layer 3 of the mines, before picking up where I left off, managing to nab Cat vs World along the way for defeating 1,000 total enemies, before finally finishing all possible side quests for Lifetime Service Award. Now this may have taken a good while, but it wasn't the step I was concerned about. That award goes to my next goal, to complete every last challenge in this list with no less than a gold medal on each and every one. I knew this would take me hours and hours, and honestly, kinda didn't. I began on my journey getting new challenger for completing my first challenge, and somehow, only 1 hour and 45 minutes later, was rewarded bronze medalist, silver medalist, and gold medalist for acing every challenge the game could throw at me. I was fortunate enough to nail most of the challenges on my first try, so it took far less time than anticipated, but I was now left with quite the array of miscellaneous trophies. So I thought I'd start with the collectibles. If you're expecting a quick rundown of them all, then today's your lucky day. I started with all 21 manholes for Sewer Aficionado, then hunting for all the 10 male models, unlocking cameramen, then of course all 10 female models for Smile for the Camera. Yeah, Smile for the Camera! Then shifting my attention to the 10 key sites in Joga Paralao for Tour Guide, before pressing on to the 10 remaining sites in Hexville for Tour Conductor, then bringing it home with the 10 Sagasi paintings in Joga Paralao for Sagasi Fan, and of course, the 10 remaining paintings in Hexville for Sagasi Maniac. Now down to the final 10, I set my sights for some quick easy trophies, like Pipe Coordinator for simply placing 9 different furniture in Cat's Pipe House, Talisman Crafter for merging 2 talismans 3 times, and Rift Hunter for taking out 5 big Nevi down in the mines, before setting my sights for any remaining combat trophies. I began by getting Lunar Vortex for grabbing 5 enemies with a Lunar Vortex, then I grabbed Ball of Destruction for defeating 3 enemies with a single Jupiter-style debris ball, before nabbing High Wind Alert for defeating 10 enemies with 1 Gravity Typhoon, before bringing it home with Cat Claw for defeating 10 enemies with a single Spiraling Claw, leaving me with only 2 trophies remaining. With both trophies being gem-related, all I had to do was find a perfect location to grind for a couple of hours, and eventually I'd amassed 60,000 total for Gem Collector, and spent said gems on upgrading Cat's abilities with a final trophy, Power Cat, giving me the long-awaited Platinum Trophy. Thank you so much for watching this Platinum. This one took a little longer than expected, so I apologise for the delay, but I just wanted to give a quick thank you for all the support on my recent videos. It means the world to me. So if you did like the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in the next video.